What's up, everybody? Back with another live. About to send the invite, and then we'll be good to go. All right, I just sent the invite, so make sure the volume's up. Hello, hello.
Hi. I'm waiting.
How's it going?
Oh, you know, just great. Made sure I took my pre-workout before this interview, so we're good to go.
Get all it hyped up.
I was less worried to squat 235 at competition than I was to do this.
That's hilarious. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm like very similar, which I think is funny because I've been doing these for like, I think this is gonna be the second year. But yeah, I'm like very introverted, don't like public speaking, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, as a business owner, like that's something that you're gonna have to do. I'm just like, I don't want to.
Oh, I realized that once I got here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to talk to people now. So, you know, where before Chino would have the music so loud, I didn't have to talk to people so much. So.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's public speaking is not the problem. It's making sure that you don't say the wrong things sometimes. So.
My gosh, yeah, I for sure hear you on that too. That's why the guy who I have that like edits my videos and whatnot, he also has a background, like he's also a personal trainer. So I'm always like double checking with him to make sure I don't like say something stupid on camera. Like, wait, is that right? He's like, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, exactly.
My only fans are my children, so they're gonna give me their opinion whether I want it or not. Okay.
That's hilarious.
Like I put a little eyeliner on today, and my son's like, "Why'd you color your eyes, mommy?" And I'm like, "Let me be."
Yeah.
Let me put a little bit of makeup on, so.
Just let me live. That's hilarious. All right, well, we actually.
So I'm gonna let you know. It's been a busy day for me, so I mean I looked through the questions, so we're just gonna raw dog these questions here.
I was gonna say, just do your best. I tried to gear it towards like stuff that's easy for you to talk about, and then I want to be respectful of your time, so just let me know if like we're running a little long.
Sounds good. I have an Uber delivery coming for my children, but that's about it. Just some donuts for them. That's all.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, well, we have a decent amount of people on here, so let's get started. So, kind of like tell us a little bit about yourself. How you kind of got into the fitness industry, what got you into lifting and everything in the first place, what made you choose to be a trainer, like that kind of stuff.
Which question am I answering first, Alex?
I would say, what got you into lifting in the first place?
Yeah, so I've been doing this for about 7 years now. Mm-hmm. Technically 8 come this fall. Liam's going to be 9 years old, so a year after I had Liam, just physically, I didn't feel my best. You know, it was my first child, so I kind of gained too much weight during my pregnancy. I was a real estate agent. My physicality wasn't what it is now. You know, it was like working all the time. So I kind of started to get into fitness, and 9 years ago, we didn't have Instagram and influencers. So I bought a book, and I was just learning movements and what was going to get me to a goal that I wanted. I forgot what the book is called, Body Structure. Actually, a lot of the trainers use it. And I kind of started self-teaching myself how to work out. And then I got pregnant again. Mm-hmm. And so my journey changed from working out to physically look better to staying healthy during my second pregnancy. And I've just taken off with it about 5, and then COVID hit, as you know. So I decided to stop doing real estate and focus primarily on personal training because I didn't realize the amount of women who needed help during COVID to kind of stay motivated. So I put myself out there. I was posting on Instagram more. I was doing home workouts. And then all of a sudden it was kind of like just took off from there. Before I would train just for leisure, friends would come to the gym with me and I would train them. I wasn't at all, and I'm going to be completely honest about it, I didn't know form. I didn't know anything about squatting or deadlifting, but I knew the basics of, you know, if I wanted to get more definition, what workouts I needed to do, or if I wanted a slimmer waist and a little bigger of glutes, I knew what workouts to do, but in no way, shape, or form pre-COVID was I skilled in teaching someone how to squat correctly or to deadlift. So that's why my training was very bottom line, you know, just stay physical. And then COVID hit, no equipment, I just turned into like a cardio queen, right? Because that's all we had until things. And then that's where I kind of built my client, base was during COVID. So when Chino asked me to come join the group 3 years ago, my personal training history just completely changed. I give a lot of credit to every trainer that has come in and out of Too Strong for teaching me something little about my training that I currently do now. So that's where I started to do strength training and really focus on strength training and kind of let the high intensity workouts just stay in 2020 like COVID did and just take off from there. So, and that's where we are now. I still, I do take pride in being a strength training coach. Do I still have a long way to go? Yeah, I believe we're always learning every day. So, that's kind of like where I got to where I am today.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I like that it's like a very personal journey. You know what I mean? Like why everybody starts is very personal. And like, so I used to have a client that like does real estate. And him and his mom were always just driving everywhere. Like, dude, like my knees are killing me, my back's killing me because I'm just sitting in a car showing houses all day, blah, blah, blah. So I can only imagine like the toll that takes.
Oh, yeah.
The hours are really long. Like you always have to constantly be available to people. So
that's right.
Yeah, between that and then becoming a mom, which is 24 hours a day, like, that's insane. So I have very, very high respect for you.
Thanks.
Definitely. So let me see. What kind of like, I know like you went to Chino's gym, obviously, but what kind of like helped you gear towards lifting weights? Because something that I feel like a lot of women struggle with is like the intimidation of like touching weights. It's like, oh, I don't want to get too bulky, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like you're like a prime example of like, I'm strong, I look good, like all encompassing. And I think that that's really good for a lot of women to see instead of people just seeing somebody that's just like super diesel or moving like crazy weights.
Yeah.
So
I think you know that from strength training, nutrition is such a big value in it, right?
Yeah.
So like we eat to keep up with what we're doing physically. And if you're bulking, you eat more. And if you want to, define yourself, you eat less or you eat enough. So combining nutrition with strength training is so important. We were actually having a conversation this morning. We talk about nutrition every day at the gym. It's like, why are we eating sweet potatoes and pasta and rice and not eating salads? Like we talk about this every day. And I think that the stereotype behind strength training and weight training and bulking is just what we were kind of taught growing up. Like the more you eat, the fatter you get, or the more weights you lift, the bigger you get. And it's not necessarily like that. When I started at Too Strong, I was 115 or 117 pounds. And I was vegan, right? Chino would laugh about that now. And I said to Chino, I want to grow. And he's like, well, you got to start taking up some serious weight. You're not going to grow. You're not going to build muscle if you're not eating right and if you're not taking up the right weight. So we started incorporating weight training and I fell in love with it. I was like, this is it. I went from 117 pounds to 145 now. And I've never felt better. I thought I looked great then. I should have done like a bikini competition back then, but I thought I felt great. And then as I started to strength train, my posture changed, my physicality changed. A lot of people worry about injury, right? A lot of people worry about, like, especially my girls who have injuries and they have problems. If you're doing it correctly and you're being guided correctly, it's amazing to take up heavy weights. Some of my little girls, they take up over 200 pounds, and I'm amazed by them every day. I don't think they realize that, but to be taught it by someone like Chino and be taught, weight distribution and how to take up weight properly by someone who's skilled as he is, you tend to fall in love with the process, and you want. My kid was calling.
You're good.
Just another one. You want to get stronger. You want to become physically better. And that's, I might not be as strong as I would like to be. With owning a business and having kids, I kind of take a step back on my own fitness. But as far as my girls go, every day they come in and they take up 300 pounds on a hip thrust for 10 to 15 reps. They amaze me. So I think it's just a stereotype of take up heavy weights, get bulky. It just doesn't exist. I think it's more of just what society is built. And if you're eating to get bigger, you're going to bulk up. I mean, I see some women on Instagram, of course, everything is fabricated, but who are jacked up and like, 400 pounds. But then I see women my size who are taking up 400 pounds. So there's totally two different levels to strength training. You just got to be trained correctly or coached correctly on how to get to exactly where you want to get to. So, and I always say this to my girls, when I start to see my abs, I'm getting too skinny. Like, I gotta go back to weight training, and they all think I'm crazy, but as a trainer, it's like, no, I have a physique I like to be. Whether I have a pouchy stomach and big legs, I want that physique rather than, not being able to strength train every day because I'm too busy. It takes a toll. It takes a toll on me mentally more than it does physically. So that's where my strength training story comes from. And I also believe if you have the wrong trainer and you're doing the wrong workouts, it's going to lead to injuries, and it's going to lead to bulking, and it's going to lead to not shaping yourself correctly. So always do your history. Make sure that whoever you're choosing has a history of understanding how that process works.
Yeah. There's a couple of things that you said that I really love. The first is like the fact that you talk about nutrition with your clientele. There's so many like misconceptions and everything. So every time you say that this workout's fueled by tacos, I lose it. I'm like, I think it's so funny because it's like so many people are like carbophobes or blah, blah, blah. And just like you're saying, like they think that they only need to eat salads 24/7. And it's like, no, like you need to properly fuel your body. So I love that you're doing that with your clientele. Also, your clients are strong. And your clients are like monsters in the gym. It was awesome. I love seeing a lot of the people that you had at the deadlift competition that I co-hosted. That was awesome. I don't know if she's still in here, but I think her name is Lynette.
Oh yeah, she's here.
She was that was crazy.
Yeah, she underestimates her strength, and she's been one of my biggest transformations. She's about to go on a year with me, and she amazes herself. And I don't think and I said this to you, but I don't think my girls understand how much they amaze me, how much, like, they'll finish taking up a new PR, and I'm like, we did that. Like, like, we got you here. Now we start over. But, Lynette has been one of my biggest transformations in the last 10 years, and she only does strength training. We did cardio in the beginning just to build her cardiovascular, her blood flow, her endurance, because that's what cardio is for. And when she started to really take up some heavy weight, her body just completely changed. Yeah. So, but yeah, she was amazing at that comment. She could have taken it more. If she's on here, she understands. She's not going to comment because she's working.
I was going to say, sometimes the nerves and stuff get to you too. So, but the way that your clients are moving was awesome to see. So my next question for you is, what made you decide to open your own facility? Like, what made you pull the trigger?
It was a hard trigger to pull. So I still walk in some days and I'm like, this is mine, right? I have so much help doing it. I did not, everything in this place was done by hand, right? Like, do I hire a painter, or do I hire someone to build this? And then I think that having my hands and my brother and my son's father, like, it's been a journey. So pulling the trigger wasn't an easy one because I've been Too Strong for 3 years. Yeah. Everyone who knows me knows that I'm affiliated with Too Strong. So to leave Too Strong and kind of like be my own trainer was a little like I don't know how to explain. It was shell shock, because the choice to do this is more in full transparency. I homeschool my kids, so it was more for them than it was for myself to be able to have flexibility in my schedule, a place to have to teach them, a place to have to like feel comfortable enough. Too Strong opened their doors to me for 3 years. I just thought it was time to take advantage of that, and the amazing opportunity came to hand by a friend, and I just couldn't pass up on it. I think it was time. I always said the time and the place will happen when it needs to happen, and that's exactly what happened. It got landed in my feet. 2 weeks later, I'm opening. So it all happened within about like 3 weeks span. So if anyone says you put a lot of thought into this, no, no thought whatsoever. You signed the lease, and then it just took off from there. So
yeah, that's awesome.
I wish there was a better story, but there really wasn't. It was like, hey, I have this available. Do you want it? And I'm like, yes, let's do it. And then that was it. And now
it's good though. I feel like a lot of people are afraid of like the uncertainty. You know what I mean? Like, nothing's really guaranteed, especially if you're going to be an entrepreneur, like your own business owner. Clientele's not guaranteed, income's not guaranteed, blah blah blah. So it's kind of all a gamble. So I I also respect that you have confidence in yourself and your abilities as a trainer. And clearly, like, again, every time I see your posts, the whole place is full.
Yes.
So you're doing a great job so far. That's awesome.
Thanks.
So we kind of talked about it a little bit before, but like, what are some of the steps that you took to get your own spot? I know a lot of people, they kind of like start in a big box gym, blah, 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 work their way up. And then eventually after like years and years, then they open up their own spot. But I feel like, especially with Too Strong, do you feel like you were kind of like groomed, like you knew exactly what you had to do? Or was it kind of just like, I need to figure this out as I go?
I mean, we're still figuring it out, but the longevity of my clients, my longest client has been 4 years. And then before moving here, my last longest client was like almost a year, Lynette, a few of them. So my clients have kind of been with me for a long period of time. So full transparency, when they sign up, this is not an overnight thing. This is a long-term thing. So to be able to have that clientele and the trust from them is 90% of the reason why. Hold on. Which is majority of the reason why we've done what we've done and why I'm here, is because of them and them only. So to be able to open up, sorry, the Dunkin' Donuts is here.
Yeah, you're good.
I think you have to lock it on top, please. So to be able to like, sorry, to be able to open up a gym and have my clients come with me, that's been one of the biggest pluses for me. So when you ask, you know, what steps did I take? I made sure with them first. It's kind of weird, but I sent them I sent them a text, a group text, and I was like, hey ladies, this is the opportunity I have. What do you girls think? And everyone's like, do it. We're with you. We support you. I sent the location before even signing the lease. I said, how do you all feel about this? Because I'm not fit woman without my clients. Like, nothing makes you a good coach or a good trainer unless you have people to speak for you and speak on your behalf. And that was primarily what got me to really say, okay, let's do this. Let's make this happen. So
nice.
That's how I got here. With the approval of all 15 of them or 20 of them, whoever it was at the time. That's why I made the choice to pull the trigger. So
that's awesome. And I think that's really important and sometimes overlooked. I remember when I was first like deciding to start my own business, I looked at like other YouTube influencers or like other gym owners and how they discussed like some of the mistakes they made and blah, 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 or like the pricing for everything and this and that. And kind of like what you're saying, there's a guy, what's his name? I forget, it's like Zat Strength or something like that on YouTube. He was in a similar situation. Dude had lots of clientele and everybody was like ready to move, but every time he went to the facility spot, it wasn't ready to be open, and then it kind of just fell apart from there.
Yeah.
But like having that support that you're talking about, I for sure think is crucial. So what about, did you have like the equipment that you had before or no?
So I got comfortable at Too Strong, right? Because you're there for 3 years and you have this equipment and you have all these free weights. So I kind of mimicked a lot of what was like basic, you know, especially like Chino did great at bringing in the right equipment and having the right equipment. So I wanted to keep it as basic as possible. And we do a lot of basic training here. We don't have amazing machines and we're just a lot of free weight other than the cable machine. So the answer to your question is no. I had weight at home from COVID, like a few things, nothing crazy. But this was like 2 weeks of let's go find what we can find. And everything else is on back order. So a little history. Everything I really want from my gym is just now starting to be delivered. So we're going to be replacing equipment as we go. But no, I didn't have anything going. Maybe like 2 20-pound dumbbells. So like the first day I walked in here on June 1st, I looked around and I said, how am I going to fill this place in the next week? And it happened with lots of prayer and a lot of crying. But no, I didn't come in with any like equipment or wasn't prepared. I wanted to also start small because I feel like the more personal of a setting it is, the better it is for the clients. When you got too much and you have too much going on in the gym, it gets a little overwhelming. And for that, like there's really no purpose. Hence, exactly like Too Strong. You walk in there, you got your squat racks, your leg press, your dumbbells. your lat pull downs, and it's simple, but it's so effective. And that's what I teach my girls, that less is more, especially when you have a small personal training gym. You don't want to overcrowd it and overwhelm your clients, because you repeat program for 6 to 8 weeks sometimes doing the same workouts. There's really no need to bring in things that you don't.
Right.
But it's also very expensive.
Yeah.
Nothing comes cheap in this industry, so they need to understand that part too. So
yeah, I was gonna say that that's kind of why I brought it up, because I think a lot of people don't understand, like, the equipment that's there came out of your pocket. You know what I mean? The layout was in your head, like how everything was designed, like that's all you. And a lot of people, when they go to like this owner, they just kind of see like the final product. They don't really see how much work or how much time, effort, money, and everything has gone into it. But again, like, your place looks great, so yeah, you're doing really good so far. And I for sure, like, the expensiveness of stuff, wild.
yeah,
it's so wild.
Yeah, it's still racking up. Like it hasn't. We haven't stopped putting as much as we still can. I'm still trying. I just had their dad yesterday go out and fetch me a machine that I found that I've been wanting, and you know, so like having the help to be like, yeah, like, do it. But also I pass it through my clients. I gave them an option. Do you girls want a leg press or a chest press machine? And luckily enough, the chest press machine outweighed the leg press. So, you know, you gotta talk to your clients about it too, because essentially it's their training. They want to come in here and feel like you're adding value to your own gym, and that's what I want. I want to add value to it. I want to make sure that I'm constantly always making sure everything is working properly and functioning. But it is very expensive, you know, and the more name brand you go in this industry, the more expensive it gets. But with just having 2 weeks to build a gym, that alone was really tiring. That alone was that was the hardest part of this all, is getting it all done to get my girls back, because they were not having this, I'm not seeing you for a month. No, they were like, let's go. They're like, we'll go in there with the walls white, not painted. I don't care. They were ready to come in day one. And I'm like, hold up. Let's take a minute here. I kind of need to see the layout first. So, but yeah, it's still stressful to this day. But, you know, little by little, I just keep adding stuff, because I'm still overwhelmed by this too, because I'm an introvert like you. So I'm still kind of like, this is mine.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. And like you're saying, like, a lot of this stuff, that's why I like offered to help at first, because like, I put all my stuff together over like the last like 2 to 3 years, and obviously, like, it's called weightlifting for a reason, but man, everything is so dense, so heavy. If you have like stall mats, like the rubber coating, those are heavy and super bulky. Like it's a lot of work.
I think that at one point or another in everyone's life, they should all drag a stall mat across a threshold, because there's no joke about how heavy this is. And I sent my brother out to the Tractor Supply store to pick these up, and he's like, what in the world is this shit? And I'm like, there's 3 of them. Good luck. And then to drag it in, I don't know what dragging a dead body is like, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's got to be something like that.
It's got to be something like that, because those things are I was like, I should have cut them in the car and then dragged them in. So, and then, you know, building a squat rack, that was fun. Chino was like, hey, you're going to do this? And he drew like a little like weird sketch for me. And so I'm standing in Home Depot looking at this thing, and I'm like, and the guy's like, what is that? I'm like, it's a squat rack. I was like, it's a platform. Don't you get it? And the guy just didn't get it. But Chino got it. You know, he's like, do this, buy this. So with his help, you know, and of course, Christian screwing that thing, bolting it to the floor, I wasn't going to do that by myself. So, but everyone did offer to help. I do appreciate the amount of people that were like, we'll come through, we'll help if you need me. But I think it was like a sense of independency too, of like,
you want to do it yourself, right?
Yeah, like you want to get down and dirty and be like, I had my hand in at least everything that went into this place, even with the help of, you know, their dad and my brother. And it's just amazing. It's amazing to have that help and see it like all come together. It was pretty crazy.
For sure. Oh, so what's up, Terrence? Good to see you in the chat. So next question is going to be, what are some of the roadblocks that you didn't expect when you're opening your facility?
So they say like entrepreneurship comes with more hours, right? Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it's like. Like you don't want to leave. Like you're here and I'm working more hours. Not that I couldn't where I was before, but now it's like it's my place to run. It's my place to make sure that everything's getting done properly. And the one biggest roadblock I have faced is I don't leave. Like I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go home for lunch, or I'm gonna, take this Tuesday afternoon off, and then a client's schedule changes, and all of a sudden it's like, all right, I'll stay here. So I haven't figured out and that's the biggest roadblock for me, because I am a mom first and foremost. Yeah. So to not be able to spend the summer like I want to with my kids, I've just been here. That's the only roadblock I have been facing, is being here and not wanting to leave here to go home, and then checking the security cameras to see if anyone's breaking into the place at the end of the night. So that's about it. I haven't faced any real hardship yet. When I do, I'll let you know. Hopefully I do.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I think the phrasing is called, like, when you own your own business, it's not a 9 to 5, it's a 5 to 9. Oh, yeah. Which is like super true, because, and I struggle with the same thing. I'll have like a client send me a video for form feedback, or somebody reach out about a schedule change. It'll be like 9, 10 at night, and my fiance is like, can you just put your phone away? Mm-hmm. Like, no, but like they need me like right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're all like, I don't want to bother you, and I'm like, it's 11 at night. We're already doing this. Let's do this.
Yeah,
let's
exactly.
make your whole schedule for the next month. So, plus I think that in this industry, we have the flexibility to do that. Like we can communicate with clients, and things change all the time. Yeah. We're not a doctor's office, so we don't have, life happens. But I find myself too, like texting. I think I texted Lynette at like 2 a.m. once, and she texted me back, and I'm like, what are you doing up? Like, go to bed. We're training tomorrow. Like, why, like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Parents are saying they can wait. I don't think so.
Exactly.
My girls don't wait. My girls are like, Mel. But I have 104 text messages unread, and it's not on purpose. It's just because I just forget to answer. So by the end of the night, when I'm finally sitting down at home, I go through the messages.
Yeah, that's like your time to do it.
That's like my time to do it. So, it's like I'm posting on Instagram because it makes my girls feel good, but that doesn't mean I'm actively texting or messaging. Because some of my clients will be like, I texted you, and I'll be like, I know.
Right.
Just because I'm posting the girls online doesn't mean that I'm physically active. So
yeah, exactly.
But checking out is the biggest roadblock that I haven't been able to do yet.
Yeah, I that's something that I posted about, I think it was like a week or two ago, where I was like, listen, I'm really sorry if I don't get to your DMs, but I have like 16 group chats, 20 people sending me memes, and I'm just like, there's no way I'm going through all of this. So I completely get that.
Oh, well.
Yeah, exactly. Boundaries,
yeah. James knows me. James has known me for almost 20 years in the industry, like just business wise. I don't check out. Like another thing too is we've made them this way. You understand? Like if we continue to put these patterns into place, our clients are going to be like, oh, she's going to text me.
Yeah.
And because that's what they're used to. So we've kind of like, watered the plants. So it's actually our fault. It's not even their fault. We're
that's something that Terrence and I have talked about, and that was something that was really helpful that he suggested to me, was like having specific like time frames for stuff. So every Wednesday is when I post for social media. Saturdays are when I do like my form feedback and stuff like that, because it was getting to the point where it's like, just like we said, I'd be getting form videos like 10 at night, and I would like feel obligated to answer, but I'm like, I'm getting ready for bed like at this point. So definitely like having certain time frames for stuff is for sure a good idea.
Throw 3 kids into the mix and then come tell me how that works out. Okay?
So that was going to be like my next question is, how do you balance your own lifting, like taking care of your own health, being a mom, and your business? I know obviously it's very fresh, so you're still kind of figuring it out, but what has been your approach so far?
I don't know. So my kids are great. They've been around this for the last 3 years. because True Strong has always been so open to me and my family. You know, they've been in this, so they're very well behaved. So if I'm lifting, most likely they're in the back, or like they're in the office, or even at Too Strong, anybody walked in and be like, Liam's here today? And, you know, he was. And the kids are actually in the office right now with my niece, because they're just with me or with their dad all the time. You know, they're well-rounded kids. So how do I balance them? I really don't. I haven't figured that out yet since being here. But I like when they watch me. I like when they join in on our workout, or I like when, you know, Liam used to train with Migs over at Tisha. I like the physicality, and I like them to see that because it builds good habits for them in the future. Yeah. I think Liam was asked, this is like the first year of COVID, that they were on the computer, and they were like, oh, you know, what does your mom and dad do for a living? And Liam's like, my mom works out for a living. I'm like, no, I don't. I don't work out for a living. I mean, yeah. I wish. But I will say that my physical activity, like my weight training, has taken a big step back in the last 2 weeks, to the point where, like I said, when I start seeing my abs, something's wrong. I've got to start lifting heavier. But I have made the choice to compete again in November. So me and Migs are going to start again in August. Nice. But as far as balancing, there's not anything that me or their dad does that doesn't involve the children. So they're just always here. Yeah. They're always here. And that's how I balance them. The closer they are to me, or the more they're with their dad, or you know, it's a good thing to have them see this visually, to be a part of this, because it builds good habits, you know. And I like when my kids try to do, you know, bicep curls, or when they're trying to do a lat pull down. You know, it kind of like, as a mom, it's like, yeah, go for it, you know. Yeah. But they're very my kids are very physically active. They're not like, let's stay home on a Saturday and watch movie type of kids. They will have you outside kicking a ball or throwing a baseball, or I don't know, whatever be the case. So, yeah. But I haven't figured it out how to balance it since starting here. But I'm sure I'll get there. Definitely. I'm sure when school year comes around, things are gonna get.
Honestly, like, I'm sure that they appreciate it now, but I for sure know that your kids are going to appreciate all of this stuff down the line. There's so many times where I just like look back and I'm like, no one ever taught me how to work out. No one ever taught me how to eat right. Like, I have to figure out all this stuff by myself, but like, this should have been a staple in my life, just like from the time I was a child. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the fact that you're able to do that for your kids is awesome. And like I said, I'm sure they're definitely going to appreciate that. Yeah.
I love seeing the kids on, like, working out and, you know, just being physical. And, you know, I think weight training is really important. I mean, not heavy training for little kids. I mean, you know, gradually stepping into it, but I don't mind it at all. I don't mind if they're in here picking up some weights. Not while clients are here, of course, but just on their own. So yeah. I do enjoy that part of it. Plus, they're 3 boys. Like, I can't keep them down for a long period of time. Like, they're gonna stay active. They're gonna stay active.
I was going to say, it gives them a way to, like, find stuff that they like. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people also kind of stop working out or stop taking care of themselves because they never find a style of taking care of themselves that they enjoy. Yeah. So if you can get your kids to enjoy lifting weights, or maybe doing cardio, playing whatever sport, like, that's going to be huge for sure.
It is huge. Yep. I agree.
So my next question is, what is your approach to building confidence for women in the gym? This is also kind of like a separate question. Is your gym just all women?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. Awesome. And if you see a lot of them here at one time, I love them all. Some of them already signed up. It's because they don't want to leave. And I mean, they can stay as long as they want to stay, right? So confidence in the gym comes with comfort of knowing how to work out. Yeah. And if you coach your clients correctly and you teach your clients correctly how to navigate through the gym, like, what do we start with? We start with the deadlifts and the squats and the heavier, and then we work our way to the dumbbells, and then we'll work our way to the cable machines. That gives them comfort in the gym. One of my clients, and she's not on here because she's traveling, she refused to step into the gym by herself. Yeah. Hence, almost a year later, a few weeks from now, she's in the gym 3 times a week and sees me twice now. Mm-hmm. And that is like, every client I've interviewed to start training with me, I'm like, I'm building the way for you to get comfortable in the gym, because when it's time for you to go, I'm going to give you your kudos, and I'm going to be like, you know, go ahead, go. I'm ready for you to go. So when not just a female, male too, not to say every man is confident in the gym, but if they know how to navigate through the workouts and they're doing it correctly and they know percentage what weights to stay at, they're going to be able to do that on their own. And that's what builds their confidence in here. Plus, my group of girls are so supportive. Like, we may joke around and we all have a good time, but just today alone, Lynette was taking up over 300-pound thrusts, and we were all in there like, yeah, go for it. So just having that, like, community of, you know, all females just doing that for you, that speaks volume. I love when I see a female, like, I haven't been to a general gym in a while, right? Other than Paramount or down the shore, I wanted to try a few gyms out. I love seeing women in the weight section. Like, I love seeing them loading up deadlift bars and, you know, the squat racks. And the funny thing is, my clients who do have home workout programs, they'll be like, how do you do this? Like, how do you pick up weights and put it on our bars every day? Like, they're like, that's the hardest part at the gym. And I was like, yeah, I know. But like, when my little two sisters are in here and I'm loading up to 400 and something pounds, 200 on each one, I'm sweating. I'm like, dang, girl, it's like, I'm loading the bars here. One of you is deadlifting 225, another one's squatting 2. It's a lot of weight that I'm putting on for them. So they find that to be the hardest part at the gym, that they got to load their own weight. And I'm like, yeah, okay. We do this every day. We do this for a living. So
that's definitely true. It was hilarious. One time I had a client that I was doing like the programming and form feedback for. He came in for a session. I was like helping him load weights. And he's like, wait, whoa, like, I don't have to do this myself. He's like, oh, I'm getting spoiled right now.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh.
Yeah, they are spoiled. They're all spoiled.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it, though. I like when they miss me a little bit, when they got to go put their own weights on. And I might schedule like 225 on purpose just so that they understand, like, we really do help you out here, you know? So, but that's seeing a woman in the gym, and a lot of my clients who have said, I'm ready to do some home, some, I like that. Like, I like seeing that happen. I like seeing their progress. I like seeing their progress in building confidence in the gym, whether it's here with me or out on their own. Either way, like, that's what I like.
Yeah, I think one of the most rewarding things about like teaching like clients or whatever is when they either talk to me or like send me something on Instagram and they know that it's BS. So like, I know that I've done my job when they can like kind of sift through all the BS online and like figure things out for themselves and blah, blah, blah. So that's definitely a thing.
Yeah. And let's not forget, I mean, most of my clientele that I have now, they've been with me at Too Strong for 3, 2, and there was nothing ever uncomfortable about it. It was like the most awesome place to, you know, get down and lift up some weights and get dirty. Like, when my girls drop chalk in here, they like look over at me and I'm like, it's okay. Like, it's okay. Let it fall. I'll vacuum it up later. And believe me, I'm vacuuming it. But you know, that they like that, you know, grungy, like get down, because that's just what they've been a part of for the last few years. So it'd be weird to be like, don't dirty the floor. No, like, we're not. Far from it. My girls are far from that.
That's awesome. So what are some of your go-to exercises for building strength and aesthetics? We kind of mentioned before, again, a lot of women tend to be afraid of free weights, but that from like what I'm seeing, like, that's what you're all about. Yeah. So what are some of your like go-to things that some, like, I guess women in the gym may never like touch?
Deadlifts. You know, I told you my progress through deadlift was learning it at Too Strong through the trainers there. Squatting, you know, so when I program squats on my girls to do it at the gym, and they go and do it, I already know that they've crossed that threshold of, I'm embarrassed to squat at the gym, but squatting, deadlifting, bench pressing, those are all things that, you know, they were afraid to do before, and with the right guidance, they're comfortable enough to do it now. I might not bench as I'm supposed to, right? But we'll talk about that in August when we get there. But I can't go a Monday without squatting. You know, like, I have to squat on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, or I have to deadlift on a Tuesday, and like, it's just part of my routine. And if I'm not doing it, then I don't physically feel stronger. I don't physically feel any better. So I think those 3 lifts are like the most important ones in the gym. I say skip the resistance and go for free weights all the time, right? But not all gyms have that availability. Right. So when I started to bring in 60s and 70s and 80s, my girls are like, Mel, where's the 20s and 25s? I'm like, no, we're not going there. We're going to do goblets at 80 pounds or 100 pounds. Like, we're not going to goblet 20 pounds. So, you know, just taking up weight in general is what I enjoy. Whether it's, like I said, squatting or deadlifting, benching is that.
Yeah, I've also noticed, like, I see you and also your clients do lots of like upper back work, which I think is very, very slept on. A lot of women are afraid to, I don't know if it's like fit differently into certain clothes, but it's like having a big upper back and obviously like wider hips and everything. That's what's going to give you the hourglass figure. And I feel like a lot of people just only want to hit legs or hip thrusts or stuff like that, and you completely like neglect the upper body. So I'm glad like you brought that up.
Yeah, I don't have one girl who's programmed to just do lower body. We if we're doing back, we're doing back and legs, or you know, and they love it. You know, a lot of girls come in and say, "Is it upper day?" And they'll ask for upper body day more than they'll ask for lower body day because it's part of their program. I love the back. I videotape my girls in here all the time. I'm like, let's go, it's back day. And then I show them the video and they're like, that's me. Like, I didn't even know that was back. I'm like, yeah, like we're really making shit happen here. So never neglect the back, never. I love upper body days with my girls. I find it to be, you know, exciting. And you don't even need that much equipment to do a back workout. You know, it's a lot of rowing. Everything with back is rowing, right? But it's one of the most fundamental workouts for women. So when people say, oh, Mel, you do legs 3 times a week. Yeah, I also hit back twice.
Right.
Not lately. You know, I'm not feeling as bison back as I used to, but, you know, it's an important part of the program. So never skip back day.
Definitely. Let me see. Yeah, so the next portion of the question is, what would you say to women who are afraid to lift?
Just learn technique. You have to know how to lift before you can go ahead and lift comfortably. Whether, and if there's anything that I can, and I tell my clients is, if you're afraid to do something and you're not taught it correctly, you're not going to know how to do it correctly in the future. So some of my newer clients have come to me with like PTSD from a bad trainer or bad experiences in the past. And I'm like, well, we're not going to deadlift 225 today. Like, we're going to start slow and work your way up. So I would say just to learn technique, learn how to do, you know, a workout correctly before attempting to even work out. Because if you're doing it incorrectly, you're going to get hurt. You're going to have issues. You're not going to feel comfortable enough. I think you'll agree with me, the Instagram is such a trash place to get workouts from. Like I have such a big, the female fitness community is huge. Like, there's a lot of us, and I'm always recommending a page or be like, look at how she does it, or, you know, don't go looking at some influencer who's getting paid, you know, to put this on it, who's deadlifting incorrectly, or who's squatting, or who's doing like a movement that doesn't even make any sense. You know, go follow this trainer, or go look at this trainer. Or like if I see a trainer post something, I'll send it to the girls and be like, look at this, see, like this is, like there's a lot of like self-sharing within the industry that I think that you'll learn more from females that, you know, train, and males too, don't get me wrong, but when a female sees another female doing it, that gives them more confidence to say, okay, I could go and do that. Some of my girls came in and said, I'm never going to deadlift 200 pounds. Okay. 2 years later, we're at like 315. Like, what did you say? So as long as they're comfortable doing it, they're going to continue to weightlift correctly. So.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, that things should be broken down into like movement patterns. Because just like you're saying, like as soon as they see somebody lifting whatever, let's say it's like 400, 500, 600 pounds on Instagram, you're just like, holy crap, not seeing how much work is already, or how much work it took like to get there in the first place. I think definitely, I for sure agree, break it down into movement patterns, because you're going to have to squat every day, hinge every day, push, pull every day, some kind of rotational work. Like, you're going to have to do all that stuff in your daily living. So I think that that's a way to explain it to people, that they're kind of like, oh, you know what, actually that does make sense. Maybe I should learn how to do this properly.
One of my clients said the other day that she helped her husband move something, and then her husband said to her, damn, you're a strong ass woman. And she's like, yeah, you know, but 2 years ago, she says she would have never imagined herself doing something like that, you know, or at least like on her own. And I, you know, that I like those little comments that they make, like, oh, I would never. And that's good volume. So
never forget one of the females that I still currently work with. She was there pretty much towards the beginning when I first opened my business. But I remember trying to teach her how to deadlift, and she was like, "Oh man, I don't know this and that." And I was like, "Don't worry, I'm going to get you deadlifting in the triple digits." She's like, "100 pounds, like that's a lot of weight." Literally the next week, she deadlifted 115, and now it's like a couple years later, she deadlifted 255, and she's like 5 feet tall. You know what I mean? So for her to do something like that gets her really, really excited.
And it builds confidence in them too. It's like, you know, like, yeah, we can pick up heavy shit. Do I think we can all pick up heavier? Maybe, but why rush the process? Like it's
right.
a slow learning process. And like I said, but going back to the beginning of our conversation, I learned that from Too Strong. I learned different techniques from different trainers and how to apply it, you know, with every single client I've had since day one of starting. At Too Strong, of course. I mean, before it was just, let's do burpees. Let's do cardio and get skinny. And now it's like, my girls are like, I don't want to be skinny. I want to be strong.
Yeah.
And I'll take strong over skinny any day. So.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And it's awesome, just like you're saying, like showing somebody that they can do something that they never thought that they'd be capable of. Like that to me is probably one of the most exciting parts of the job.
Yeah. Like when your girl came in and deadlifted that weight, like we're all there for her. Like, yeah, take it up. Like you want to see strong, you know, and we're talking about females now because that's what we're tailoring to, but you want to see strong women. You want to see a story where if someone's repping out 225, like I like that shit. Like I live for that. I'd rather see it within our community than see it on some influencer who is doing it incorrectly, you know, like that kind of stuff excites me. So,
yeah. And
my girls enjoy it too. They you know, they like to see like women become stronger and be stronger. And I have a lot of little women. Like my girl's like 5 feet tall, taking up 225, and I'm like, yeah, you could do it. So it's an enjoyable process, and I think that's like one of the biggest things I've taken away from being a trainer is I'm enjoying the process. I'm enjoying the building of clientele and seeing them grow because they've been with me for such a long period of time. That I get introverted taking on new clients because it's like, am I going to get them to fall in love with fitness the same way that my other clients are? You know, like that's my goal. That's my goal in life is to make sure that women learn how to do this and enjoy it. Not just, oh, I gotta go see my trainer today. Yeah. Like, I hope none of them say that. I hope none of them say that.
Oh, well. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. With some of like the soreness of my clients the next day, sometimes I get death threats in my text messages. Like, why would you do this to me? Blah blah blah. But they love it.
Of course, it goes away. Drink a lot of water; it goes away faster.
Yeah. LOL. That's hilarious.
It does, yeah, and it does. Yeah, that's it.
All right, so my next, this is going to be like the last portion of the stuff I had planned was, how have you kept your love for the industry alive? And is there anything you would have done differently? So with like the first half of the question, we kind of just touched on this, like stuff that we see online, like influencers, blah, blah, blah. One of the things that really drives me crazy, like you're talking about, is like exercises or stuff that have zero purpose, right? So like I've literally seen people in commercial gyms bench pressing 225 on the exercise ball. And I'm just like, that thing's gonna pop. You're gonna like completely destroy every part of your body. Yeah. So how have you kept your love for the industry alive?
Like me personally, from a personal standpoint, learning how to go from a cardio driven training to strength training to weight training. So like every step of our journey as trainers and coaches is different. And if it wasn't for Chino and Migs to get me to do this competition this past January, I don't know if I would have loved it as much as I do now. Now I'm like, okay, let's go. I think before your deadlift, I was like, man, I want to hit 315. Like I wanted that. Like that was like my goal. It just took a little longer to get there. My own fault, not my coach's. But if it wasn't for that competition, I don't know if I would love it as much as I do now, if that makes any sense. Like I would have been fine being a basic 225, or I would have been fine being no, now I want more. Now I want to like, and I competed with some strong women like Michelle and Ashley, and even when Chabelle competed, we were all there, and it's like, yeah, let's do this. Like, but no, I wasn't excited at all to do that competition. I was like, man, why am I doing this? I'm you know, almost 40. Like, do I even have a right to be there? And then it's like, I did the competition. It felt great. And then I was telling Gina one day, I was like, Nick's got to go harder with me. Like, I want 315. I want to get to 225 rep now. So like, that made me fall in love with the process more, was doing that competition, understanding what it took to get to that level. Okay, let's do it again. I'm ready to go, and I'm ready to go higher. But as far as the industry itself, it's my clients. Like, I'm gonna cry the day that like some of them leave me, right? And I'm like, no, don't go. But to be able to build relationships within like our little community and all these girls, it's literally the reason why I even decided to open up this place. You know, without their approval, I wouldn't be here, to be honest with you. So, you know, there's a lot of different factors that go into wanting to personal train people. And I don't think anyone in the industry understands it. I don't think they understand what it takes for us to deal with programming and making sure these clients are hitting goals and, you know, what's coming next. And when they're not hitting them, you almost feel guilty. Like, what can we do to get them to where they got to get to? Or what can we do to change? And it's work every single day. So, and we set small goals in here. We don't do like long term. I always say we set 6 to 8 week goals, and then 16 to 20 week goals. Like, this isn't an overnight process. So as long as they're still interested, they keep me interested, you know. And I like when they come in and complain, like, oh my God, I had a client this morning walk in. She's actually on here. And she walked in and she's like, it's hot in here, Mel. I don't want to sweat. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, start sweating. Like, let's get it done. And that builds my excitement to like train them harder. Like, oh, you don't want to sweat? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go. We're going to get you to sweat a little more today. Shut the air conditioner off and, you know.
Well, go super old school with it.
Yeah, turn the heat on. Like, let's get down. So, but yeah, they keep me wanting to do this more and more.
That's awesome. So is there anything that you would have done differently, like in your career path, like leading up to now?
Yeah, I would have started strength training a long time ago. I saw a video of when I first started at Too Strong, and I'm like deadlifting 95 pounds, struggling, right? Mind you, I was like 115 wet. And I'm like, man, if I would have just given it a little more, like, where would I be now? You know, like, would I be stronger now? Would I have learned something faster? Because I think we all want to learn something as fast and quickly as possible so we can apply it towards our clients, right? Or we can apply it towards whatever we're doing on a daily basis. But I wish I was a little stronger, faster, and sooner. I think that's where I messed up. Plus, I was vegan when I started. I wish I was eating chicken and meat back then because, you know, it helped. Nutrition is a big factor in how much you lift or how you lift and how you look. And so I would have just changed that. I would have changed my perception on strength training because I think I was fearful of bulking and getting big. And I think too.
Why is he
we joke
like this?
We joke about it all the time. We joke about how I used to be vegan, and yeah, I was a big loser. But no, I wish I would have started strength training a lot earlier. I think I could have been further in my strength training and further in teaching my clients that. So it's taken me a while to get. We do eat steak from Mama Too Strong. But yeah, that's been my biggest fallback, is waiting too long to start strength training and weight training because of the stereotypes that there was behind it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I wish I would have gotten more into, because like I've been lifting since I was like 16, so I've been lifting for like just over a decade now. But it was, in the beginning, it was all like aesthetics. I was like, I want to be the most jacked person in the room, blah blah blah. And it wasn't until I think it was like my junior or senior year, this kid must have been like, I'm talking 140, 150 soaking wet, and was deadlifting in the 400s. And I was just like, what am I even just looking at right now? It makes no sense.
Nothing at all.
And then from there is like when I became this, all right, how can I get stronger? How can I, whatever, outlift this person, blah, blah, blah. So I agree. I wish I would have started like more strength specific training earlier, because like who knows like where I would be now. But all that being said, I think especially for us, like our journey has a purpose with how it was, because it makes you appreciate what you have now more.
Oh yeah. Tomorrow's one of my clients' birthday, and Gina said, make sure you keep this deadlift birthday thing going. Deadlift. And so when I told her, like, get ready to deadlift on Saturday, she was like, what? Like, no, we're here now. And I was like, no, I appreciate those things. We're going to do it. So implementing those small little things with your clients, you know, it matters. It's like, it builds a sense of community, right? It builds a sense of confidence, and it builds a sense of, oh shit, like, she's strong, I could be strong too. Or I think when I walk into just a general gym, I'm the same way you are. I'll be like, why are you doing that? Mm-hmm. Or like I'll go, no lie, like if I'm videotaping myself and I catch something in the back, I used to go back to like Chino or Migs and be like, look what this person was doing. Not to like shame them, but kind of say like, yo, they, you know, it's like they could get hurt, or like they're doing it wrong, or like, you know. And I think people get judged, like they feel, don't judge me at the gym, don't talk to me, don't correct. So I'm not going to, but I don't think you should be doing that either. So, you know, you learn to appreciate movement, you learn to appreciate what you're taught. And that's been my biggest takeaway, is what I've been taught and how I can apply that here now, you know, because my girls weren't going to come here and just stick to little baby weight. Like there's days that I run out of weight and I'm like, shoot, I hope the new weights come in soon, because I like have no 10 pounds or 45 pounds left. And so it's good to see that. It's good to see how far we've come ourselves, and then seeing our clients understand that as well by how far they come. So that's the biggest takeaway as a trainer, and the best part about a trainer. So, but I do value myself in calling myself a transformation trainer. Like that's what we're going to do. Like you're going to come in here, whether it's physically, mentally, whatever it is, you're going to transform one way or another, and you're going to want to work out, and you're going to want to be active, and you're going to want to take up weight that makes sense, not weight that doesn't make sense. So.
Right. That's awesome. It's also hilarious that you're talking about running out of weight. People used to bust my chops all the time because I would be like consistently buying more and more weight. They're like, dude, like, why don't you just spend some time and fill up your pockets? I'm like, no, I don't think you understand. Like some of the people that come through to my lifting events are deadlifting, squatting 600, 700 pounds.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, like we need all this weight. Trust me. Yeah. Or just like you're saying, like if you have a group class and more than one people, like you're going to, especially if you have really strong people together, you're going to need a lot of weight.
You're going to run out.
Yeah, exactly.
I should have been taking like 25 pounds from Chino when I had the chance.
Just start pocketing some of
He doesn't use them. He uses all the 45s. I remember he'd be in there like deadlifting and squatting, and we'd have no 45s in the gym. And I'd be like, and that's because he takes up like crazy amount of weight. So, but yeah, you won't. I'll get more weight. I promise. My girls, some of them have signed off. I promise I'll get more weight. I have more weight in here. Plus, everything's taking forever to ship. So,
that's something I was going to say. Like, now it's gotten a lot better. But, like, when I was first building my setup, it was, like, during the pandemic. So, like, the wait time for bumper plates, I had to wait over 3 months.
Yeah.
It was insane. And that was just, like, for a pair of 45s. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, because then you go to, like, Dick's Sporting Goods, and it's, like, double the price. And you're like, I'll wait 2 weeks. Or I'll wait. Like, my squat racks come in on the 15th. So I have temporary ones for now. And I was like, I'm going to buy them used. But then I was like, no, like, I want them new. Like, I want the girls to see that it's new and feel that it's new. Right. But then when they said, shipment July 15th, I'm like, oh, damn. Like, okay, I got to get something in here. And then I was like, do I do one? And I was like, no, I need to do two, because I have 2 girls squatting at the same time. So, but there's still a lot of stuff on back order. Don't get me wrong. A lot of kettlebells. Kettlebells are the trend now, apparently. And then, you know, you want to make sure that you have the right weights, and, you know, plus my girls are strong. Anna doesn't. She did offer to steal it from Too Strong, though. She was like, she won't even notice if we take a 5 pound. And I was like, I was like, don't do it.
Yeah, it's so true, though. I remember I wanted to get like a barbell set with whatever, like cast iron plates, blah, blah, blah. I think it was like a 300-pound set. If you looked online for Dick's Sporting Goods, it was like $300 for the 300-pound set, including the barbell. And this person sold it to me for like over 500. It was ridiculous. Absolutely,
like, all right, I'll make
ridiculous.
it profit.
Yeah.
I mean, don't forget, during the pandemic, it was the #1 most wanted thing, like to have weights or gym sets or anything in that sense. So I think just now it's starting to calm down a little bit. Like when I bought a few weights just to start the gym, and the guy was like, "Oh, $2 a pound." I said, "We're not doing this."
Yeah.
Like I'll offer you $1, or if it's a heavier set, like the 70-pound dumbbells that I bought online, I bought them through wherever I bought them through. They were like $10 or $15 over $1 value, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, that makes sense." But like people on Facebook, they're selling this for like, they're selling a pound of 70-pound dumbbells for like 250 pounds or $300.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
It's crazy.
Like
It's
pandemic ended. Like it's 2023. Like stop trying to make a profit out of it. But they probably bought it for some crazy amount of price too. So
yeah, definitely. Well, listen, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. It's been a lot of fun kind of hearing like your backstory for everything. I'm really happy for you that you have the new facility. It looks great. Your clients are killing it. I hope everything, all the equipment and stuff comes in soon. Do you have any plans like for kind of hosting like your own events or anything? Or are you
not yet.
Not yet?
Yeah, maybe within like the next month or so. I haven't done a grand opening yet, so hopefully within the next month or so, I take the step needed to make that happen. But we'll be getting in touch. I think I told you you could come by anytime. But I think within like the next, I'm still getting, acclimated to being here.
Yeah.
So I'd say like July. Plus it's summer, so it's a little slower.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping by the fall I could start putting some events together and start seeing, a lot of people in here that really just want to take up some weight or whatever be the case.
Definitely. Well, let me know. I would love to come through and support, bring some of my clients to come support, and we'll get something figured out.
Sounds good.
Cool. All right. Well, I won't hold you. Thank you again for everything. Thank you, everybody, for joining. If you don't already, please follow her page, the business page, all that good stuff. Go show some love and support. And, yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye, Alex.